The proposal that I wrote to get my forecast grant was to put a sculpture or a group of sculptures somewhere in Northeast Minneapolis. It's a research and development grant. It basically gave me the time to study the area a lot. I spent a lot of time walking around the streets trying to think what might be the appropriate piece of public art that would fit this particular community and that would engage the community that lived here. And that's how I came across the idea that I did. Right between my shop here and my house, which is about a mile away, is St. Mary's Orthodox Church. And every Friday they sell pierogies there. And I would stop and buy my lunch on the way home from a couple ladies that sit inside the gym and sell their pierogies. Down a couple of miles closer, well, not even a couple miles, another mile closer to downtown is St. Constantine's. And on Fridays as well, they sell pierogies. And I would stop by there every once in a while. I'm originally Polish, and I've been making pierogies ever since I was about yay high. It's not just a Polish, or in St. Mary's case, a Russian thing, or St. Constantine's, it's Ukrainian. But it's a food that all those cultures which originally settled this area have in common. But it's a food that is common to so many cultures. There's empanadas to Latin cultures, tortellinis, raviolis. There's gyoza in Japan, or shuijiao in China, or momo in Tibet, or manzu in Korea. So I've collected altogether more than 40 names of pierogis that I am going to put on the base of the sculpture, so that anybody that would come up to it would see the pierogi perched on a fork on top of this pedestal and say, hey, I know that food. You know, we call it this. And then they could go up to the base and find the name that they call it, and I think people would really get a kick out of that. In my grant application, I did say that I would make a maquette of the sculpture that I would come up with. So once I had completed the sketches and got it to the point where I knew exactly what I wanted, then to make the maquette, I first made it in wax. And I start with the base piece. I start with wax pieces that I simply make in I melt the wax and I cast it in a plaster mold so that I get these sheets out of it. And then I cut the sheets up to the size that I wanted and simply weld them together with a soldering iron. And that's how I made the base piece. The pierogi itself, I actually made the same way that I make pierogis at home. I rolled it into a circle, and I actually cut up small bits of wax like this. I shaved them down about the same size as the pieces of cabbage that we put in the pierogis that I make with my family. And I folded it over and pinched the corners, and I used a fork to smash it together just like I would at home. So it's a genuine pierogi. To me, it's been a huge boost in my own self-confidence, and being recognized for the work that I've done so far, that Forecast would choose me to get the R&D grant and give me a chance to develop something that is a public work.